Hey everybody, welcome to our special edition of our Yuki's VR Zone podcast where we talk about VR chat, VR stuff, and a lot of cool stuff. Make sure you guys leave that like and subscribe as we get ready for more content like this. But before we get into the actual update, I do want to remind everybody that tonight, 5:30 is our gaming draft. You are voting for games you want to see in 2025 on 5 different channels. Yes, that is right, 5 different channels. Make sure you go to yukiproductions.com/2025 game draft.html to vote on the games you want to see, or you can go to my community tab on the main channel, Yuki Productions, and you can vote there. Draft begins at 5:30, stream begins at 5:25. Now we get into the big boy. The big boy is this. Now, normally you don't see me do these type of update videos on a Tuesday. Usually you see them on a Thursday. However, they have updated their roadmap, which we have been covering since August. So we're going to go into the roadmap now and see what they're coming up with. I would do this in presentation style, but there's a lot to go over, so I'm not going to do the presentation. We're just going to do it like the old school notepad. I do have my pens ready to go. So here is what they have planned since August. So back in August, they had 11 features playing playing for 2024 2025. They have completed 4 of them, which is not bad, considering that a lot of time and space is needed to do this type of stuff. So recently, VRChat updated where persistence is now in play. A little bit of a TLDR. If you do not know what persistence is, basically it's where it's like in a video game. In Resident Evil, you need a ink ribbon to do typewriter to save your game, right? Well, think of persistence as a save system for VR chat worlds. Developers use a persistence prefab in order to have game data, or in this case, player data saved into their server. For example, a leaderboard for like a gun game. When you come back into that world down the line, your score is going to be saved. Assuming that you're still on the leaderboard, that is. Okay? So you can technically make like a system where you do like a season, like Call of Duty, for example. That's up to you, but that's just one of the ways you can use persistence. So, what have they done since then? They have completed persistence, example central, permanent purchases in worlds, and types of data to Udon. The big one, and the one that just came out for live builds, is the persistence. By the way, that's why Moonlight Village is actually delayed. I'm thinking of trying out persistence for 2025. So for now, consider Moonlight Village 2 delayed because I was really looking forward to this persistence thing. And now there's another word I want to highlight because the persistence made it possible for customization. Okay, so what is coming up next? What's coming up next is this stuff, which I'm going to highlight in brown. A new character controller, which we'll go into. Soba, which is actually Udon 2. Okay, so they changed the name to Soba, like soba noodles. And then they're also going to do a way you can build on Test and Quest and mobile devices. That's brand new that they've decided is. You're going to be able to build on and publish on multiple platforms right away. They're going to have community plugins. You're also going to be able to eventually do recurring payment in group stores. And if you are a creator of VR chat worlds, you could be able to install an Android and iOS module directly from VCC, the VRChat Creator Companion. Let's go into detail what they mean by each one. So let's go ahead and go to the character controller. So what is a character controller for those of you who are not aware? Basically, it's how the character is controlled by the player. But as a programmer, there's a way you use the character controller. That's how you get those animations, you get those movements, all that stuff. So here is what they are working on for the character controller. They're working on a brand new one since April 2024. They're going to be done on moving platforms. So, for example, an elevator. So, like an elevator, that thing moves up and down like normal. But when your character walks on an elevator or a moving platform in this case, the when you go downstairs with the elevator like function, the platform moves, then your character moves. Platform moves again, your character moves again down. What it's going to do is it's going to go at the same time. Platform and character move at the same time. That's what they're trying to do. Going upstairs and slopes is gonna be smoother. Players can get pushed around by the collider. So you're gonna make it possible where if you collide with something, you're gonna be pushed back like in Mario. Unstuck from geometry. So if there's like a corner like that geometric corner, they're going to allow you to get unstuck. And Udon will have better control. So that is the character controller addition here. Let's go back to the previous page so we can take a look at the new one, Soba. So Soba is Udon 2. They just changed the name. Actually, no, it's Soba is actually the new one. So let's have a look at this. So VRChat is working on improvement into Udon VRChat scripting system. Currently, world creators can write code in two ways. Udon Graph, which I do, which I learned to do, and Udon Sharp, which is the common like code by words and stuff. VRChat is introducing a third way, which is called Soba. Creators can write Soba scripts in C Sharp, similar to Udon Sharp. Soba scripts are compiled by Microsoft's Common Intermediate Language, or CIL. This allows Soba to use a variety of features not available in Udon Graph or Udon Sharp. So let's have a look at this image in this diagram to appreciate what we are looking forward to. So as you can see here, this is the Udon flow right now. So we have an Udon Graph and Udon Sharp, which becomes an Udon program, which goes to the virtual machine. This is right now. In our existing flow, creators write their programs in Udon Graph or Udon Sharp, and it is compiled into Udon assembly program, which is then run in the Udon virtual machine. What they want to do next with the Soba is this. This is the new one that we're gonna do. Soba to the Soba program, but wait, let's do a little bit different here. So this part you guys already know. It's the one we saw on the right, on the left. But now they add Soba. Soba goes to a Soba program, which goes to a Soba virtual machine, but you also have Udon virtual machine combined with the Soba. They're intertwined. And here's what they say about this. In a new flow, creators can write C sharp logic, which is then compiled to Soba programs to run in the Soba virtual machine. They can continue to use the Udon Graph and Udon Sharp to make Udon programs that run in the Udon virtual machine, and both program types can communicate with each other true events and variables. So if you have a variable here or an event, you can also use that event in Soba, is what I am understanding from wording, from the wording there. Okay? So a lot of programming talk here when we're reading this update here for this one. Okay, let's go exit that one. We're going to go on to our next one, which is going to be build and test on Quest and mobile devices. This is brand new. This is currently in progress, so let's take a read. VRChat is interesting, allowing the VRChat SDK to be available to test and build test content on mobile devices. Currently, only PC content be build, test, and test feature. Other platforms must be built and published instead. So basically speaking, if you do the SDK, when you do the whole testing, you're only allowed to do the PC build, not the Android, not the iOS. What they're working on is doing it on all. Okay, what's going on right now is that it's built and published, meaning you don't get to test it. You just go whatever it is. Okay, so that's what is currently in progress. It was started in SDK 3.7.2 with more updates on the way, as they mentioned here. Let's go on to the next one, if we're allowed to, which is build and publish on multiple platforms automatically. So here, it's almost the same thing. VRChat is interested in allowing the VRChat SDK to build and publish on multiple platforms automatically. For example, you might be able to publish on Windows, Android, and iOS versions of your world without interacting with the SDK 3 times. So what this means is in the SDK, under the builder segment, the builder tab, all the way down you have the build platform, right? But in order to build on all three, you have to go Windows, and then you have to select Android, and then you have to select iOS, and then you have to convert. What they're going to do is do it one build, all three. You do not need to do it 3 times. Okay, you're basically uploading 3 times. You don't need to do that when they implement this. So big boy update there. That's W. The next thing they're going to do is community plugins, custom Udon graph nodes. And they give you an example here, which we will now go over. This community is very creative, and no matter how many resources you put towards building cool tools, you always lag behind the community's ideas. As such, I think having some type of experimental area where world builders can extend the node graph without being blacklisted during upload seems like a great way to me to impose new features. Simple text and screenshots in the canny don't seem adequate for me here because you can't test your code nor where you can really illustrate properly what the benefits are. For example, what if you want to wish to build a PA microphone system leveraging runtime modifications of the spatial audio parameters? This requires you to test with other players to get it right, and the best way to present the results would be through a demo. Now imagine someone could build a custom node for the Udon graph, for the node graph along with the lines of set audio parameters, audio source, min range, max range, and you're able to reference player voices as the audio source here, perhaps through a trigger of sorts. So they're doing it by parameters. Audio source, min range, max range. This is usually an integer. The audio source is usually a file. So they're trying to see, they're trying to test it experimentally. What's the min range, max range, and all the other parameters you can set with a PA system. So this is actually an interesting idea that you might be interested. This was back in 2018 when this poster posted this thing here. So let's take a look at the responses since then. So here is what they're saying here. Custom nodes to be in C sharp, and it has to be other than pure C sharp. So that's what they're saying there. The next one that they are playing with is going to be recurring payments and group stores. However, we cannot see it without signing up for another thing here. And then another planned feature is the planned VCC to install Android and iOS modules directly. So by default, it's always Windows. But when installing Unity, the VCC should also install the modules required for Android and iOS. It would be nice if users could choose Android or iOS directly instead of switching. Actually, that's a good idea. That's a very good idea. This is good. This is a good one. Because right now you can only play with Windows if you're a developer of worlds and avatars for that reason. But when the VCC used to be able to install them right away. This is almost like making your own video game inside of Unity because you can still download Android and iOS modules, but you have to download them separately. What they're doing here for virtual VRChat creator companion is they want to do it right away. That's actually really good. Okay, so that's a good one right there. But that's not all. There's more. There's apparently more to come. There's gonna be the following changes to the creator companion, creator documentation, minor changes to SDK, and changes that are not ready to talk about yet. Meaning there is more that is not listed here. There's gonna be more here. Okay? And of course, if you have questions, feel free to ask them. Okay, now keep in mind we will still continue to follow this as developments go further because this is more of a surprise update. The next one I believe is still in December. However, I do want to shout out one particular world that benefits that from benefited from persistence, and I want to go over to my Twitter. Yeah, I know Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. There is this world right here from Varneon that benefited actually from persistence. And here is what we are going to be talking about right here. Thanks to I'm gonna go straight from the original post here, which is this puppy right here. I'm going to go ahead and use my pen. So for Neon says the following. We have just reached a monumental milestone regarding social VR driving experiences. Thanks to the persistence update, every player can now own their personal vehicle, which they can customize and keep across instances. And we're only getting started. By the way, this is for a world that's yet to be released. As in, this world has not been released officially. Like, he's in testing mode for this particular driving world. And I will tell you, I have tested out the driving world from Varneon yesterday. Just to take a break from game development with my card game. And actually, it looks pretty good. Although this one is the big one. This desert one is actually going to be the big one when it comes to the persistence. Let's actually watch the the video here to give you guys an idea of what to look forward to.
Vehicles in a full instance of 80 players was 40. Yesterday we absolutely shattered that number by giving every single player in the instance their own vehicle, something that is only now possible after
Look at that. Do you see that gas station around here?
absolutely shattered that number by giving every single player in the instance their own vehicle, something that is
Do you see that gas station right there? In one of the preview videos, he actually has money you can collect.
only now possible after the introduction of persistence, which includes the ability to create player objects. As you can see from the footage, immediately after a player joins, a new fresh copy of a pickup truck gets instantiated in the parking lot. This vehicle is one that the player actually owns, and
That is correct.
nobody can steal it from them. The owner of the vehicle is also able to customize the color of the car at the mod shop, and while not only being synchronized between clients,
Oh, did you hear mod shop? Yes, that is correct. Literally GTA.
it will also persist across instances. Now let's talk about performance for a second. I'm running a 2700X and a 1080 Ti on a Valve Index. The instance has 80 players with 85 vehicles active. I'm also recording this footage in the background, and the experience is still completely playable.
Yep. Look at his specs. Look at the specs right here. CPU 2700X. I believe that's a Ryzen. GPU 1080 Ti. His VR thingy is a Valve Index. I'm going to get a MetaQuest 3S. He has 80 players in that test area. There's 85 vehicles or 85 trucks, and he's recording in 1080p 60, and he's still getting good performance out of it.
Considering the circumstances. Another significant hidden improvement is the fact that the world doesn't allocate seats for vehicles anymore. Every player's personally assigned object also includes their personal networked seat that signals to other players the attachment ID of the seat and calibrates the player's position. When you are alone in the world, you can count the number of networked objects in the world with
There's also this. There's a mission system here. Deliver package. Also with persistence, boys
5
and girls.
fingers. Now compare that to over 300 before the update. I'm fully aware that to an average user this might not seem like much, but I can guarantee you, this is an important monumental shift forward towards more advanced social VR driving experiences. Without the introduction of persistence, the new generation of my vehicles which I've poured years of hard work into would have never been able to reach their full potential. What I've shared with you in this video is just the tip of the iceberg of what is made possible by persistence regarding my vehicles.
Oh, he's absolutely correct. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Is absolutely correct. Because if he can make this, he can make something like GTA, and I'm not joking. Now, of course, it's gonna be different, but persistence actually helps make more experiences like this one.
And I can't wait to share more exciting news as the development continues.
Please don't crash us.
And remember, there's 80 players in here,
Oh my god. Please
and there's a
don't crash.
waypoint system,
You have a passenger now, please.
and you're going to deliver a package.
Oh.
I want to remind everybody, he has 80 players. 80 players. Okay. His recording at 1080p. Okay. And he's using a Valve Index. That's crazy. And remember, persistence. That's crazy. Right here. One world, persistence update, changed everything. Oh yeah. So that is today's update video for VR chat. If you have any questions about it, make sure you comment below. I'll try my best to answer the questions as much as I can. But if it has something to do with advanced stuff, no. I'm gonna wait to see what they are going to do before I answer any advanced questions because I want to wait to see what they have for us before we do that. That's all for this one. We'll see you later for our draft and enjoy.